I was not initially going to upload this to YouTube because I'm planning a much larger video, because this, again, is just the bare bones of the situation. But this has been getting such a reaction on TikTok and Instagram, I wanted to have it on YouTube as well. I just want to thank everyone so much for the support and for believing me and having my back. This is a really difficult thing to talk about, and I am really grateful for all of the support that I've gotten so far. And I'm also getting messages of other people's stories that's helping to contextualize some of the things I've heard since I left the fair, and has really shown me that things have not changed as much as they should have, and making this, I think, more important, and that's part of why I'm posting it to YouTube. So thank you for watching. I hope you're doing well. Okay, bye. Hi, this is my Renaissance Fair experience, part 1. So I worked at this particular Renaissance Fair when I was 17, 18. I can't quite remember. I had just graduated high school. My first summer there was absolutely incredible. I was an intern and I loved it. I went back for a second season still as an intern, and that's when things went really, really, really bad for me. This guy, we'll call him Jeremiah. He was a very well-respected and well-liked person, and a lot of people that I respected really liked him, so I thought he was a pretty good dude. And he seemed to really like me at first, and I was very like, yay, a person likes me, I love approval, I need this, please give it to me. At the beginning of the season, we hadn't even opened yet, he began telling me about how his mother and his grandmother had died, and it had really, he was grieving a lot. We also were juggling, so we had that in common, so we would juggle together, and he would talk, and I could tell that he needed some emotional support. And one night, the sun is setting, and he says he needs to talk more, so we go to a secluded part of the fairgrounds. Yes, I know, I'm an idiot. I got it. Thanks. Sorry. My Renaissance Fair experience, part 2. So we're in this isolated part of the fairgrounds, and he starts telling me about his wife, and how he and his wife had been looking at pictures of me online, and the way that he talked about it, it kind of made it sound like they had gone shopping for me, because they were in an open relationship. And he kept on just like laying on compliments, and then anytime I would kind of try to leave, he would tell me more again about his mother and his grandmother and how he was grieving, so I felt like I couldn't leave. I don't even remember how this happened, but at one point I ended up on his lap, and at one point he also picked me up, and I don't want to get into it much further than that, like things just went awry from there. And then after that, my roommate started telling me that he had been like waiting outside our room at night. Also, bear in mind I'm an intern. I feel like I have a lot to prove because I want to be on full cast. So all summer I have to get up and do rehearsals with him watching me and knowing that he's watching me and knowing what he's thinking about. So it was just very stressful trying to even just like do my job at that point. My Renaissance Festival experience, part 3. So all summer, I was just feeling very stressed out and very watched by this Jeremiah guy, and I did try to go to the intern director for help, and I was crying and upset, and he asked me if I had wanted it to happen, and I told him no. I felt like it was obvious that I hadn't wanted it to happen, but then if he had to ask, then apparently it wasn't obvious. There were a couple other people that I did try to talk to and tell them what happened, and they would end up telling me stories in like a sort of a way to try to commiserate with me, where they would tell me about people that they had slept with and then regretted sleeping with them, which was a little bit weird. So I had to go through the whole summer with that, and then at the end of that season, the head director found out, and they were going to fire him, but then they decided that it would be too detrimental to the last weekend of the show, so they kept him on and told him that he couldn't come back, except that the next year someone had given him guest passes, so I ran into him in the middle of a fair day, and it was just delightful. Here is part 4 of working at a Renaissance Festival. So there was this other girl who was I thought she was my friend, and I told her what happened, and instead of like trying to help me, the next thing I knew, I turned around and she was like flirting with this guy and trying to like, it was really blatant and very gross. That's just me being petty and kind of salty about that, that's all. So I went back for a 3rd year because I wanted to like take back the space or whatever, which was a dumb idea. I got into a polyamorous relationship, and I started a friendship with my director, which was also a very bad idea. He is a lot older than me, and he has a young daughter, and so I was kind of looking at my friendship with him as like a father figure sort of thing, and I did not realize that he was not looking at our friendship in that way. I went on a vacation with him and with the polyamorous couple that I was in a relationship with, and then rumors started that I was sleeping with him. People would actually ask me all the time if I was sleeping with him, and I would tell them no because I wasn't. I didn't find out until later that while we were on that vacation, he had talked to this other couple and told them that he had feelings for me. Here is part 5 of working at a Renaissance Festival. So in the off season, I lived with this polyamorous couple. I'm going to call them couple A because it's going to get confusing in a second. So I lived with couple A, and I sort of stopped feeling like my boundaries were being respected. There were times that I didn't want to be touched, and I felt like I was being touched, and it was very stressful, and I didn't like it. My director also hired me to come up to his home and live with him for a week to edit his book. This was supposed to be a business transaction. I got paid for it. I actually did have a good time, but when I got home after that, I cried because I felt like there was something very wrong. And I couldn't quite explain it to myself, but there was something inside me that was saying that there are red flags and you're not noticing them and there's something wrong here. By the time the fair season started rolling around again, I was already getting very stressful. This was about to be my 4th year. I signed a contract to go back to the fair, and I was ready to be on cast again. This is Working at a Renaissance Fair Part 6. So there was another couple at the fair that were polyamorous. I'm going to call them Couple B, and they were very close with Couple A in, that way. I had also been close to them in that way. And I then, after I had signed my contract to go back, I found out that Couple B had allegedly assaulted my friend. My friend told me this, and then I did a dumb, bad thing. I've made a lot of mistakes before this, and I have made a lot of mistakes since. This is one of the worst that I made. I made it with the best of intentions, but it doesn't change the fact that it was the wrong choice to make. So I went and I told my director what happened after she told me. I should have waited for her to tell me what she wanted to do, or waited for her to tell him herself, or waited for her to ask me to help her tell him, but I should not have gone and done it myself. That was a wrong thing to do. Working at a Renaissance Fair Part 7. So my director did not want to hear it from me. He was really resistant. Couple A was upset because they were very close to Couple B, and they did not believe that Couple B would do this, and I lived with Couple A. I did not want to go back to the fair, but I had already signed my contract. With all of this going on, I didn't want to go back. So I called my director and I told him, I don't want to come back. I will pay the fee to break my contract. My director has this personal motto of a sort, something along the lines of not taking no for an answer, and you will always push to get a yes. So instead of just letting me break my contract, he offered me something else. He offered me this thing that I had wanted since I was 14 and been working at my first ever Renaissance Fair, this thing that I wanted most in the world, this thing that I had spent most of my life working toward, which was having my own Renaissance show. And not only my own Renaissance show, but an aerial show. So I would have my hoop rigged up, and I would be able to perform every weekend, and I would be able to be in the air every single day. Working at a Renaissance Fair Part 8. So my director offered me this thing that I wanted. It was like a dream come true for me, so of course I said yes, and I went back like an idiot. I went back and found out that the rumors had gone crazy. No one liked me. Everyone thought that I was manipulating the director behind the scenes, which honestly I can't really blame them for, because I'm sure from the outside it looked like that, because one second I had a contract to be on cast, and the next second I had a contract for my own show, to write my own show, to have my own show. Like, that's a big deal. I had it confirmed recently that a lot of people on cast that year did not want to have anything to do with me because they really believed that I was manipulating him behind the scenes. I was also on the fairgrounds with the couple B that I had accused of assaulting someone, so they obviously were not very friendly to me and did not like me at all. Couple A was upset with me for accusing Couple B of this thing. It was messy and scary and bad, and I'm not sure what changed, but a few weeks in, we hadn't opened yet, Couple B got fired, and I honestly do not know what happened to make the director change his mind. I was not part of that decision. I don't know what happened. This is Working at a Renaissance Fair Part 9. So right after Couple B got fired, Couple A was apparently livid, and the woman in the couple went and, in his words, cornered my director and told him that either he needed to fire me or she would quit, and allegedly, according to my director, she also made a gun threat. Right after she made the gun threat, the next day, my director woke me up in the morning by banging on my door, and he shoved me into a room with this couple and told us that we needed to work it out. And so we talked until we had found an amicable position to be in. I think it's also worth noting that we were living in the woods at this fair, and I didn't have a car, I don't drive, so I had to rely on other people in order to get my groceries and things, which isn't uncommon. A lot of people there don't bring cars or don't drive, but the only people that would take me was Couple A and my director, because no one else really liked me. At one point I made another bad decision. I got very drunk and I popped out my collarbone, and the only person who would take me to the hospital was my director. Working at a Renaissance Festival Part 10. So the couple A was also in charge of rigging my aerial equipment, my hoop in the air, so my life was literally in their hands. Also, all summer I had been getting long emails and romantic overtures from my director. I also had a boyfriend at the time. He's still my boyfriend. Yay, he's super cute. I like him a lot. But he would tell me a lot that he'd never wanted to meet my boyfriend. He didn't want to hear about my boyfriend. He would refer to us being in a relationship very often, and he just progressively got more and more, I guess, pushy about it, but I know that he would hate for me to refer to it like that. Anytime I told him that I felt a lot of pressure from him, he would get very angry with me because he said that he was being very patient. Even after I left the fair, I would continue to get long emails from him that implied that he thought that we had a whole future together. This is just the bones of it. There's so much more to tell. There's a lot more people involved, and there's a goat involved too, but this is like the tip of the iceberg. Working at a Renaissance Festival, Part 11. So I want to make it clear that my intention is not to hurt anyone with this, and as much as I don't feel the same way about my director as he felt about me in the past, I still care about him and I don't want to hurt him. The issue is that I don't see any change happening. I don't see him getting better at handling these situations, and I also know that he does not handle critique very well at all. Anytime someone challenges him on something or questions the way he's handled any of this, he gets very defensive and he will lash out. So that's why I think it's important to talk about it, because things need to change, things need to become safer, and it's just a bad situation to be in. There needs to be a better system in place to handle situations like this. Maybe not identical to mine, but like situations with a lack of consent, things like that. So that is why I made this. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you for watching. If you watched all the way, I know it was a lot. I hope it made sense. Okay, bye.